A Full House for Christmas is the 13th episode of the first season of Taxi. This is, of course, directed by the wonderful James Burrows, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. I always love Christmas episodes of sitcoms. This one has enough Christmas in it that it's definitely a Christmas-themed episode, but there's not as much Christmas in it as I would like. We have some Christmas decorations at the bar, and it's snowing outside, and then we have some decorations on the taxis, and some children come in and sing Christmas carols at one point. So there's a nice enough amount of Christmas, and there are kind of two main themes to this. One involves Elaine having the idea that they could have a little party, a Christmas party, and we get to see a little bit of that. But the main narrative focuses on the fact that Louie's brother Nick is coming to town for the first time in a long time. He lives in Vegas, and we meet him pretty quickly. He's played by Richard Foronjy. I apologise if I've mispronounced that. And I like the fact that he's quite tall. Taller than Louie, and we get a little bit of comedy out of that to begin with. And Louie wants Nick to spend time with his mother. We get to see a really soft side to Louie here, because he clearly cares for his mother, and I also get the impression he's a little bit sick of her always complaining about Nick as well. And Louie wants Nick to go and spend time with their mother, but Nick is more interested in gambling. And Louie hatches a plan. He wants Nick to gamble against Louie's money, but with Alex playing. And if Nick loses, he has to take their mother to Vegas to see his apartment and to actually spend time with him in Vegas. And honestly, it was quite intense. For quite a long time, it wasn't clear which direction it was going to go in. And there was one point where I thought something else was going to happen, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But honestly, it was a little bit slow. It was good fun to begin with, and there will be spoilers as I explain what happens. I don't know if I gave a spoiler warning at the beginning. And it was interesting and intense, and I was desperate to see what would ultimately happen. But it went on for a good 3 or 4 minutes longer than it needed to. The scene where they're constantly raising the stakes, I think Alex put down 500, and then Nick raised him 500, and it went back and forth, and that just seemed to go on for such a long time that it kind of lost momentum. So the pacing there isn't great, it really isn't. But aside from that, it was quite interesting, and I was keen to see what would happen. And what I thought would happen is near the beginning of this match, I don't play cards, near the beginning of this game, Nick wins, I think, 3 in a row. And there was just something about that seemed suspicious. And that's not to say a person can't win 3 times in a row, but just kind of the way it was said, it kind of seemed like there was something in that. And I thought that somehow Nick would be found as a cheater. That's the direction in which I thought they were going. That didn't happen. But Alex does win. Unfortunately, he wins. Well, thankfully he wins, because Louie had been using the company's money. When he gave Alex $3,000, Alex understandably believed that it was Louie's savings. And obviously that ended up not being the case. So it's a relief for multiple reasons that Alex won. And I will say, It did slow down at that point when they were raising the stakes, and I kind of got a little bit bored of it. But then when Alex won and everybody erupted into cheers and celebrations, everybody except Nick, the atmosphere was just incredible. So energetic, so well done, that the boredom that had started to set in disappeared. And I absolutely loved it. And then we end with a scene with some Christmas music, and everybody's exchanging Christmas gifts. They never used to exchange Christmas gifts, but Elaine bought them gifts, so now they have to. Honestly, I can relate to the sentiment. I obviously don't mind giving gifts to loved ones, but when people maybe slightly outside that circle decide, oh, let's exchange gifts, do we have to? I'm only going to get bath products or something that I really do not care for. So I'm with them there. But actually, I'm glad they did, because it was a really heartwarming scene and lovely to see. Very well done. Was Latka in this episode? I have just... No, he wasn't. I've just checked on IMDb. He's only listed as credit only. Latka wasn't in this one. I think this is the first time when one of the main cast hasn't been in it, which is interesting. Either way, A Full House for Christmas is a good episode, a decent amount of festivities. I would have liked it to have been a little bit more Christmassy. Maybe having too many decorations would have been nice. I like it when they're over the top, but I know not everybody likes that. Highlights would have to be, I guess when Alex won, that was absolutely brilliant. Other than that, I don't think I have any specific highlights. It was a decent episode. I enjoyed it. It did slow down. The pacing wasn't great. But other than that, Full House for Christmas is not a bad episode of Taxi.